The other thing.
Put you on the spot.
No. Hi, I'm Richard Rands from Muted Productions, and you're watching Assembly Point. What's new in the world of Muted Productions? So, obviously, as you can imagine, we've all just been through a big pandemic, which kind of shut us down. But in the interim, during that period, we decided to try and open a recording studio. Luckily, all the live music came back super quick, so it means that we're kind of only halfway done, a year down the line. But that's kind of the new thing that we've got going on is practice room and music studios, as well as all the live industry work that we currently do and did pre-pandemic. Who are Muted Productions? So Muted Productions was conceived by myself straight out of university in about 2015 when I graduated from Leeds Met. From there, we kind of just started out as a concept where I wanted to have a sound engineer at all the shows that I was performing at. And then that kind of blossomed into more of a bit of an agency work where I was getting too many gigs offered to me personally. So I decided to promote the shows a little bit more. And then now that turned into a business which is now threefold, which is live sound engineering, music agency work where we work with venues and book musicians for them, and also for dry hire where we hire out equipment to bands or individuals and things like that. And now the recording studio. How has the industry changed from when you started to now? I don't think the music industry has changed too much. It's kind of, well, for me anyway, it has just kind of stayed very, very much the same. But everybody else has changed around it. So what people want or what people expect from certain events has changed, especially with COVID. And then musicians are finally now pushing for like a little bit more on what they deserve out of events. Like what I've noticed is the venues have kind of stayed along the same lines of if they want to change something, they'll change it pretty quickly, or like if they want to reduce a fee by reducing time, and then the musicians are finally pushing back a little bit more, which originally was my job to do as the kind of the booking agent. But now musicians are also pushing back, which is nice because it means that we can keep fees a little bit higher, and also they can expect a fee increase over time, unlike, well, as you'll know, the last 20 years it's been set at one figure as a solo artist. But other than that, I'm not really too sure. I know the digital age is kind of really coming through. When I first started, digital stuff was up there and was good, but there wasn't as much kind of like easy to use, open, you can like use it immediately straight away, kind of like most of the Alan Heath stuff that we use, the SQ system or the QU systems are super simple and very quick to pick up, whereas like originally when we first started it was quite difficult to get high quality digital PA system, digital mixing desks and things like that, and of course all the technology within like power active speakers, and everything's kind of condensing into smaller packages, but while producing similar sort of levels of sound and noise. Other than that, I'm not really sure how else it's changed, not from my perspective anyway. With Muted, what has been your biggest achievement to date? I'd say just continuing success. The fact that we're profitable, the fact that we're just like still kind of building but reasonably established within the scene. I think it's the fact that I haven't failed in a big way just yet, so I haven't had to turn something down. The biggest thing that we had come through just before or pre-COVID for a year was Northern Live Do I Love You show, which is like a big theatre show run by Darren Watson and a group called Ellis Live, and it's a Northern Soul kind of, I wouldn't say, Northern Soul tribute-esque kind of show, and then they put them in theatres all across the country. And when I got the call from Darren to do that, we were still kind of breaking into the function scene as a sound engineer, working for function bands, and then mainly doing my own agency work within pubs. So when we got that call, it was going from like another level of production and professionalism and just equipment. So the fact that we managed to catch up with that and get to a point now where we do 70 straight dates, selling out shows and things, and constant 5-star reviews is great. And people coming up to me after the show and saying the sound was good is always nice. Other than that, I think, yeah, just as I say, continuing to grow as a business. What has been your toughest challenge? Yeah, the same thing. I think it's the continuing to expand through Ellis Live, Northern Live, and those characters because of the demand of equipment. Really, everybody I assume would expect us to say the biggest challenge would be COVID, but to be honest, it was, some of it was a bit of a relief because I got to have some days off, but also, like, we pay our taxes and we did everything by the book prior to that. We got support where it was needed, and we continued to stay afloat in that time. Obviously, I did have to get a COVID job, but that went away pretty quickly as the industry just immediately switched back on when restrictions were lifted. So yeah, I think it's the constant having to just constantly reinvest in equipment and things is the toughest challenge for me personally, because it's just a massive financial hole where we're constantly buying things. But yeah, it's all good fun. So. As a musician yourself, do you prefer to get out on stage or behind the scenes? Yeah, it's a difficult one, because as a musician, I started off as a musician within this, and then it kind of bloomed into what it is now. I like getting on the stage and performing because I do it so little, I think. Because if I did it all the time, like as a professional full-on musician where I gigged like 4 days a week, then I think it would just become work and would become tedious, tiring. Sometimes the live music stuff does become that way, but I feel like my job as a sound engineer is easier in a lot of respects than it is for musicians, because they do a lot of pre-setup, and then the fun stuff is while you're performing, and then as a musician, yes, I do like being on the stage more than I would be sound engineer, because sound engineering is work, but equally I'm glad that I don't do it all the time, because I think it would run me into the ground. Where do you see yourself in a year from now? In a similar situation, but with just more stuff, more events. So I'd love the studio to be completely open, fully built, renovated, and looking nice, and being busy with people using the space, whether it just be for recording or rehearsal or just any sort of creative stuff. And becoming like a fully limited company, because at the moment I'm still actually self-employed, and we do a lot of stuff via like individual contracts, which is quite tedious again to do. So it'd be nice to get to that stage where we're a limited company and liability is less personally on me. Anything else to add / promote? Come use the studio, come use it as a rehearsal space while we're building the other side of things. It's manned, it's 24 hours, you come in any time you want, you just have to book in advance. Free tea and coffee, always a bonus. And then, check out our Facebook page for any events that we've got coming up from our agency side. We do lots of acoustic shows and put on live function bands over in the city centre of Leeds. And of course, check out some of the larger stuff that we do sound engineering for. And if you're a function band, get in touch. Love to work with you guys. An artist called Kate Peters. She's a fantastic singer. She sometimes sings on the Northern Live show, and I think she's got an incredible voice, and I'd love to sing with her. In fact, any of those guys at Northern Live, the musicians are amazing, and the singers especially. Lasansei and Danny, there's the two lads that are front the main show. I'd love to sing with them properly and maybe do some recordings and stuff. I went to see Billy Talent about 2 weeks ago in Islington O2. It was amazing, it was hot, and I feel like a child again, but it was great. For me, digital, just because it's easier, it's quicker, I can save the scene from the last time, but analog sounds nicer if you've got the money. Yes, my van has a CD player. Films.
That's it. Thanks very much for that, mate.